Medellin today is a boomtown for tourism. Visitors, up 11% on last year, are flocking in, for instance, to see these 23 idiosyncratic sculptures, the Gordos, as they're known here, of local boy turned superstar of the art world, Fernando Botero. But just a few years ago, Botero City was dubbed the murder capital of the world. This is the man that ruled the slum areas of Medellin for over a decade. To some, Pablo Escobar held a Robin Hood-like status, but to most, he was the ruthless leader of the Medellin Mafia. After his death in 1993, his violent legacy continued to haunt this nation, and locals were caught up in the crossfire.
Claro, las situaciones de violencia eran muy comunes.
Violence was commonplace. It's not easy to control a territory. We had to maintain some sort of social order because the state institutions weren't working at all.
Carlos's heroes, he told me, were the gang leaders with their fast cars, luxury pads and weapons. He became a paramilitary and drug dealer himself, but then something changed his life forever. Carlos, along with 5 friends, was ambushed by the guerrillas. They were killed, he was shot in the spine and permanently disabled.
I spent 2 years in bed, almost paralyzed, but the will to live made me recover. I went back to a life of crime and I ended up in prison. But once inside, I started to think about my future.
And this is the Santo Domingo neighbourhood today, no longer cut off from the rest of the city, nor plagued by internal feuding and violence.
So this area was just a slum before, and now it's just changed.
Yeah, it changed. We designed this park and designed around the public library. And
now optimism prevails, and it's architects like Emerson Marin who have helped to reshape the area, including this new road that he designed. One crucial plank in the reconstruction process was this unique cable car system, part of an integrated metro network. If the view isn't spectacular enough for you, you can always borrow poetry and literature from one of the metro's 4 libraries.
With this system, does it now mean that tourists come up here into an area that was once dangerous and violent?
yeah, the tourists can come here, and it's good for the people. You can see the city, you can see the people, you can talk with the people, you can talk with the children, and you can see Medellin changing.
6 years ago, a trip from here to downtown Medellin would take 3 hours. Now, it's less than half an hour. A succession of visionary local leaders set about removing the intimidation and violence that were part and parcel of the drug trade here. Their main aim was to connect the mountainside slums with the rest of the city. The metro was step 1, but then came stage 2.
Our most beautiful buildings must be in the poorest areas. Those were the words of the pioneering mayor here, and you couldn't really sum it up much better than with this magnificent library. And astonishingly, Medellin has now become the gold standard for other cities wishing to emulate its remarkable renewal.
Along with the schools, parks and bridges in the area, it's monuments like this that are bringing in visitors and encouraging local kids to aspire to a better future.
This library is more than a building. It's just like, it's hope. We design this side because this is a strategic point of the city in this neighborhood, because we have this little mountain here. You can see all the city.
It's not just the library, there are museums, galleries and a science and technology centre. And this green space, the botanical gardens that used to be walled and unsafe, Emerson designed the outdoor theatre.
It would be fair to say that the drugs trade hasn't disappeared completely here, but there's no doubt that for many people, life has changed dramatically and irreversibly.
Now I can enjoy the city. The process of peace and reconciliation made me look at my city in a different way, and now I believe in the city. I try to give back to the community to make up for all the bad things I've done. I'm now a maths teacher and I teach old friends and sometimes my old enemies.
Colombia's new elected president applauds what's happened, and he was extremely keen to pass that message on via fast track.
Medellin today is a beautiful city. People that go there that remember what they read about Medellin say, this is really incredible. What a contrast. Getting these kids that the only thing they knew was how to kill or how to kidnap and sort of transform them and give them other opportunities, show them another way. And these kids responded quite dramatically in a positive way. And you find regions in Medellin that you didn't dare to go there. Not even the police at that time dared to go there. Today they're an oasis of peace and development.
Medellin is at the moment reaping the benefit of smart urban planning, and so are visitors. In Colombia as a whole, there's been a 71% increase in tourists over the last 5 years.
How secure did you feel before you came here?
Before I came, I was a little apprehensive. Colombia doesn't exactly have the cleanest safety record, and my parents have heard a lot of horror stories. You know, they kept saying to me increasingly, please go somewhere else, come back home. But after getting here, it's quite the opposite of what someone might have thought on an uninformed opinion.
I looked on the internet, like Googled most dangerous countries, and oftentimes Colombia was number 1 or 2. And so that made me really nervous, and coming here, I don't think it's really all that dangerous. I feel fine.
And all this hard work is opening up opportunities for the next generation of Colombians. This 9-year-old, Juan Pablo, encouraged by his teachers, acts as a tour guide. He explained to me how he talks to tourists about the new library and the parks and other new buildings near his home, and how even in his short life, things have changed dramatically.
Me gustaría ser neurocirujano.
But Juan Pablo's sights in the long run are aimed at higher targets. His ambition, he told me, was to be a neurosurgeon. And who am I to doubt him?
I like to work here because the people, I look the faces of the people and the children smile when come here. I feel so good. I feel so good with the people. I feel so good with the city. I feel so good with my profession because I feel my profession is so important to change the life of the people.
The fascinating transformation of Medellin. And the one thing you really notice on travel websites and blogs is the expression of sheer surprise and delight from people who've actually been to Colombia. And I guess ultimately it's personal recommendation and word of mouth that really changes minds and perceptions.